Okay, here's my Pomni hat tutorial. The pattern is available on my Etsy shop. You can print it out on any standard printer. Just print it out and cut all the pieces, tape the two pieces that are too big together. I have a lot of large blue scraps, so that's what I'm using for the blue on the side. Make sure that all of the pieces that say blue are facing upwards and that all of the pieces that say red are facing downwards with the right side of the fabric facing up. And cut them out with seam allowance. This pattern does not include seam allowance. And then for the red, you want to do the opposite. All of the blues are facing down, all of the reds are facing up. For this one, you can put the blue pieces you already cut out with the seam allowance and just trace them onto it as long as the right sides are together. Now you want to find both sides one and match them together. Always a blue to a red and a red to a blue, right sides together. There are notches on this pattern. I didn't really use them. Fleece is very forgiving, and as long as you match the two ends together and then pin them in the middle and then in the middle of that, then you should be okay. Now you want to do the same for sides 3 and 5. Always a blue to a red and a red to the blue. You can always look back at pictures of the hat for references if you get lost. Sew those up and you should have 6 pairs of mirrored pieces. And then you want to find side 2, which is here, and side 2, which is there, and again, a blue to a red and a red to a blue. Match those up, pin them together, sew them together. Your pieces will start to curve a lot, and this is the last piece. You want to find side 4, which is there, and then side 4 on the other side, which is there, and then the other side is going to be 6, so you're going to sew both edges of this to form the 2 half cones. Now that you have your 2 halves, you want to sew down the center seam. In the instructions it says to sew from center back 5, 6, 1, center front, which is the bottom edge of these pieces here, and you just want to make sure that you're matching the 2 right corners together. And then make sure that you're sewing down that side because the other side is the opening band. And when you pin it together, just make sure that you're matching up the seams, so you're always making a mirrored side. It will always be a red to a blue and a blue to a red, and then you'll have the base of your hat. Now for the balls, you want to cut out 3 each, so a total of 6, and make sure that the stretch of the fleece is going the way that it is labeled on the pattern, and sew down one side, trim the seam allowance. Open it up, insert the third, and pin around the edges. Sew all the way around, but leave a gap at the top so that you have a place to flip it inside out and also to stuff it. Here's it all sewn with the seam allowance trimmed, and that's it flipped inside out. And then I just stuff it with polyfill and just hand sew or glue it to the ends. Now for the band, you want to take some yellow fleece on the fold, place the on-fold side on the fold, and then cut it out with seam allowance. Make sure that the stretch is following the pattern. You'll need it. Sew down one side, open it, fold it hot dog style to create a folded band with the raw edges together, and then pin the back seam to the back of the hat. And I marked the 4 quarters with pins, and the front goes to the front of the hat and the half quarters go to the quarters of the sides. Then you want to stretch the band a little bit and add more pins in between. You might have to stretch the band while you sew the hat just to create a nice cuff seal. I roll my band up a little bit to hide the seam in the top and the bottom, and then I just stuff my hat with grocery bags. It's a lot easier to take in and out when you're trying on fittings. They're lightweight and free. Congratulations, you have your finished Pomni hat. I worked really hard on this, and if you want to support me, the link is in my bio to buy the pattern for the hat as well as other ways to support me, so thank you.